Hi there, it's Stan from Hell's Addiction. The first Hell's Addiction song I learned was What You Gonna Do. And that's the first song we jammed together. And we had 2 rehearsals. Both of them were without Ben, I think, or one was without Ben. And anyway, it was really, you know, so your debut gig is the Download Festival, opening the Download Festival.
Thank you.
Talk about, you know, in at the deep end, but we got through it, and it was an amazing gig. You know, what a way to start your Hell's Addiction life, if you like. And I still remember Liam kind of coming across to me at certain points in the gig. I'm sure there's video footage of it, going, "It's your solo coming up." Okay. And it was like that. So yeah, that's how I got into Hell's Addiction.
We're on the road again. Gonna make that turn. We're on the road again. Now time is
my favourite Hell's Addiction stuff to play live, so we've got Mask in the Pain. I love doing Running Away. Again, everything's kind of pinched and borrowed. The riff, if you listen to Wasp album Inside the Electric Circus, there's a track called 9-5 Nasty. Have a listen. You might hear a similarity, but what I was going for was a kind of almost George Lynch. So I love playing that one, and because I get 2 solos in it. The first one with kind of Bruce Kulick sort of sound, and then the last solo but yeah, hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into what I do in Hell's Addiction. Cheers.
I'm the vocalist frontman of a UK hard rock band, RYDERS Creed.
to your lips. and knock it right back. Yeah, you know you like that. Yeah, the devil knows you like that. And can you feel it in your hips? Is it making you shake? How much muscle you take? Watch the going wrong way. Come on and raise the hook. Raise the hook.
So Riders Creed formed in May 2017 out of the ashes of the band that myself, Miles and Richard were previously in, called Black Rose Cadillac. And since we formed, we've just gone from strength to strength, really. We've played a lot of shows all over the UK. We managed to bag ourselves management with Rock People Management quite early on. We won the Hard Rock Hell's Highway to Hell competition in 2017, only 4 months after we formed, and managed to bag ourselves a record deal, with a licensing deal with Off Your Rocker Records, which is part of the Hard Rock Hell collective. And since then, yeah, we've played some of the biggest UK festivals, and with some of the biggest rock bands from all over the world, and it's just been an incredible experience and a fantastic journey so far.
Yeah, raise the hook. Raise the hook, yeah.
Lost Souls, our second album, I think we've found our sound with this one. We're very, very proud with this album, and more of our influences come from bands like Alter Bridge and Blackstone Cherry and Shinedown and Audio Slave, and vocalists like Miles Kennedy and Chris Cornell, and you know, loads of influences of the heavier side of rock and the hard rock side of rock music. So that's where our influences come from for the second album, and we're really, really hoping that when that is released, it takes off and does very, very well.
Digging my own grave, white knuckles on the hands of my enemies as they clasp at the weapon they'll choose to use on me. The water's pouring in, drowning me in the eyes of my kin. There's no way out, I can see, so we
feel very strongly that our second album, Lost Souls, is something where we finally found our sound and how we're going to progress and how we're going to move forward within the industry and stuff, and we're feeling very, very confident that a lot of people are going to really enjoy that. So yeah. It's an incredible experience, and I absolutely love being in this band.
I create with their love as my words cut deeper. Patience wearing thin, stretching, tearing my soul from within. There's no way out, I can see, so I keep breaking down.
Here from Black Tree Vultures. I think I was 25 when we started this band. We was all trying to work out what we want to be. We've got influences from all the guys, you know. You know, like I say, myself, the 70s, particularly ACDC, don't know if you notice, Gibson SGs, Angus Young's my hero. We got influence of Maiden, Metallica, Megadeth, tons of different acts. We tried to sort of squash into one sort of entity, but we tried to go a little bit more modern recently, like taking influence from people like Shinedown, etc. Bands like that sort of thing. I like music is it just gives you a powerful feeling, you know. I mean, it gives you some. I don't know. I find I can relate to certain tracks. You know, you find like a reason and like a rhyme behind it. You think, you know, that really speaks to me, and it kind of makes you want to be able to do that yourself. Very lucky so far as a band, Black Tree Vultures, that we've had a few people get tattoos of our lyrics, which is it's mind blowing. I've never had such a great feeling than playing on stage. I'm sure some of your other guests will say the same thing, and see people sing your words back and then say, "Oh, check it out! I've got this tattoo on my arm." It's the mind boggles really. You think, bloody hell, that's really, really cool. Yeah, stay safe. Take care.
Hello, good people of the Stoke of Music. I'm Ben. I play guitar and I sing in a band called Ricochet Rebellion.
We all got our problems. We all gotta face the way we are. We all got our problems. I know it's hard. Thankful that I found my way to you. You got me on my feet, you got me through. We all got our problems. We all gotta face the way we are sometimes.
It all started when my dad bought me my first ever guitar, and it was one of those Argos catalogue miniature Encore Strat copies that you buy kids for Christmas. And he taught me Wild Thing. I probably can't remember how to play anymore. But yeah, even still, I was never a singer up until about 4 years ago when I was in a covers band for a long time, playing guitar in a covers band, doing the backing vocals. That just strengthened my voice that way. So I just decided to have a go myself. Yeah, kick-ass rhythm section. Lewis and Sean are on board. So yeah, here we go, Ricochet Rebellion.
Hear the whispers of the doubt in your mind. Try to find where you belong.
But Sean on the bass, he's a hardcore Thin Lizzy fan, just like me old man, like, you know what I mean. Same here. I mean, his first album that got him into music was Black Rose, so that's a pretty good way to start your music career, I'd say. Sting and the Police, he loves. Got into heavier stuff through Sabbath Live, so he's been in bands where he's had to do jazz and funk and all sorts, so yeah, he's a very versatile bass player. Now Lewis on the drums, he's very similar to me. Started listening to music at a very early age. I mean, he's not just a drummer, he does every single instrument on his own album. Eddie Gecko's Space Casino, man, check that out. So yeah, through school and stuff, just got into like skating and stuff, so you know, you got your Blink 182s and your Good Charlotte and your Sum 41s and all that. Offspring, still a massive fan. I'm still a fan of Offspring. Yeah, so it's all very mixed.
Tell me a story of good times in your life. I long to see you standing strong. 'Cause we all got our problems, and we all gotta face the way we are. We all got our problems, I know it's hard.
Well, I hope you enjoyed question answer time with me, Ben, from Ricochet Rebellion. That is Ricochet Rebellion, spelled R... Hang on a minute.
I'm thankful that I found my way to you. You got me on my feet, you got me through. We all got our problems, and we all gotta face the way we are sometimes.
Hi guys, this is Jack from CYPHER 16.
Open the dark door and breathe, and take it all in, and just try to feel. The door is wide open now, and it's all blue and green. Take a big step and be the effect. Forget everything that has been. Open the dark door and walk into the light, like a bird taking flight. We will make it through this night.
I'm here to talk to you about how I got into metal. The story is actually quite a good one. I was 10 years old, and I was a classically trained chorister, choir boy at my school. And we were actually singing the Christmas Day service that year, which was at a local church. So it's 25th of December. And I wake up, and my parents that year had bought me, at my request, a CD Walkman. Remember the portable CD players? So this is the year 2000, I'm 30, okay? So this is 20 years ago now. So they bought me a CD Walkman and a CD of my choice, which I had decided based on artwork, basically, that I'd seen in local CD stores, because I was 10, I didn't know a huge amount about music. I saw this amazing CD cover and decided that's the CD for me. And that CD was Brave New World by Iron Maiden, which was the first record, where Bruce had rejoined the band. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know anything about Iron Maiden. But anyway, I put the CD into the CD Walkman in the back of the car, being driven to the church to sing the Christmas Day service, and immediately from the first chords of, I guess it's the Wicker Man, isn't it? It's the first track. From the first chords, I was completely hooked, and I was sitting up at the top of the building by the altar in the choir stalls. And when you stand up, obviously the audience of however many hundred people were in the church, it was packed because it was Christmas Day, can see the choristers. And then when you sit down, you go into the choir stalls, so they can't see you. I had my Walkman up there, so between the hymns and between the pieces we were singing in the choir, I was plugging in and blasting Iron Maiden, and then standing back up again, taking it out and singing the Christmas Day service. So that was my first experience of heavy metal, and I was completely hooked.
Step up to the battlefield. Now it's time covered in flowers. Remember, my dear, all the time you spent here. Hours and hours and hours and hours when we used to play here. It seems so small, hard to think what happened on this ground, and now you're so tall.
I moved from playing the church organ, which is what I was playing at the time, to moving the guitar. Although I am back playing the organ now, actually, during lockdown. So I'm really enjoying that, playing Bach, who is the greatest musician of all time, and probably a heavy metal musician of his day, actually. So, yeah, that's my story about how I got into heavy metal. And obviously CYPHER 16 was formed, years later. But that was, it's amazing. I can remember it, like it was yesterday. It was a real watershed moment for me when that happened, and it makes for quite a good story as well. So yeah.
Step into the sunlight.
Hugh from KOYO here. So I hope you're managing okay with the lockdown, and I hope this video helps. So heavy metal, what drew me in and how it's influenced me. So my earliest memory of heavy metal is probably my dad playing Black Sabbath, Iron Man around the house, and I just have flashbacks of just kind of dancing up and down the stairs, air guitaring to Iron Man. And I think what drew me in, and what always drew me in, is just the pure evilness of it all, and just how that is obviously very appealing to a child. And I think if I had to list the bands over time that have been the biggest influences on me in this genre, it would be Metallica. Went through a massive Metallica phase as a teenager and just rinsed all of their albums, but those first 5. And yes, I'm a massive believer in the Black Album. I know that's controversial, but I think it's an incredible album. So yeah, those first 5 Metallica albums, massive influence. Pantera, used to love Pantera, still do. Deftones, massively influenced by Deftones. Like, when I was really young and nu metal was massive, I was more into like Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory, and Korn, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that was massive influence for me at that age. But at the time, Deftones were too mature, and I didn't really get it. And then as I've gotten older, I've kind of realised the brilliance of like White Pony and Around the Fur and the self-titled and Diamond Eyes and all that stuff. And then I'd probably say Meshuggah, like more recently. I mean, not that recently, but like, you know, relatively recently. Just, you know, massive, definitely an influence on some of the riffs that we have in KOYO. Just kind of thinking differently rhythmically and doing like displacement and things like that. So yeah, Meshuggah, a huge influence. And yeah, I'd probably leave it at that. I mean, there's so many bands I could list, but I think if I had to kind of round it down, I'd probably say those 4. It depends what you call heavy metal as well, because obviously, you know, I used to dance around to Paradise City as well when I was a kid, but at the same time as Iron Man. But I mean, I'd call that you know, rock music really. But I know some people might put it in the heavy metal bracket. Same with like Led Zeppelin and things like that. But I think Black Sabbath are definitely more metal than those bands. So yeah, I hope that's enough information, and check out our music. Thank you very much.
Setting sun, others laugh just for today. For me to win, the light will win. Jettison, Jettison.
Hi, I'm Elga Valverta, and I play guitar in CYPHER. Good music is good music, so I don't specifically like heavy metal. I mean, not all heavy metal isn't good. Like, not all rap or pop music isn't good. There's a lot of rubbish in metal and a lot of rubbish in other genres. I just like good music, good bands, and good songs. The intro going to 1 was probably the first things I learned what to play. Do dee do dee do dee do dee. So and then, you know, after 6 months, it was in '89. Yeah, because I have a tattoo here, 1989. It says in Latin that not everyone that has a guitar are guitarists. I have it tattooed here, and then 1989, which was the year I started to play guitar. Anyway, then I got my first electric guitar, because back then I had learned all the acoustic intros and parts of Metallica songs and a bunch of other stuff. So then I got the electric guitar and started to really learn the Metallica songs. I got the Injustice for All and Master of Puppets tablature books, and I learned everything of those. The rhythm guitars, because I wasn't into lead playing back then. James Hetfield was, and he's still one of my favorite players. And early 90s, something, you know, Metallica Black Album, learned everything from that. And then I, for some reason, I had missed Randy Rhoads and Ozzy Osbourne. I knew Black Sabbath, of course, but I don't know, the information wasn't as available as it nowadays. And I was like, oh, Ozzy has this solo career. He's been having this for many years, so he didn't just disappear after Black Sabbath. So then I got the tribute album, the live album where Randy Rhoads is playing, and that was like, I still got goosebumps. That was a game changer. Like, wow, that got me into lead playing, and again, I learned.
Losing my mind, got nowhere to go, got nowhere to hide, and all these fires that extinguish our flame. Let's burn this masquerade. I stand for humankind. I made sure I would survive to stay alive. Now it's time to move on.
And Iron Maiden, big influence. I learned to learn how to harmonize, because I knew that I liked the sound, but I didn't know what it is when you harmonize. And then I got some Iron Maiden tablature books, and there was actually some instructions and stories. Okay, this is the key of the song, and this is what's happening, and that got me into theory. So I learned the theory by myself, how the chords, how the scales are, everything. So because I was interested, I wanted to know what's going on and not just play from tablature books. So yeah, I learned the theory stuff myself, how to harmonize, how to create, how Iron Maiden does it, how Thin Lizzy does it, and so on. And yeah, one thing has led to another. I've had a long career with several bands, some of them more successful than others, but I've managed to make a living. Well, I've had to work real jobs every now and then, but basically this is what I do, and I'm really glad and blessed that I can do this as a living.
Hey, Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake here. How it all got started for me? Well, my parents are classical musicians, so there was always music in the house while I was growing up. And they had me playing cello when I was 3 and piano when I was 7. And Never really enjoyed it that much, to be honest. So I kind of set it aside, I think, at the age of 9 or 10, and then suddenly I heard ACDC and Back in Black specifically, and really saw Angus Young too, which was a big part of it. The visual, his stage presence and energy, and their music really inspired me to pick up the guitar. And I started out very much into standard, I guess, heavy metal stuff, hard rock heavy metal. So ACDC, Black Sabbath, Ozzy, Iron Maiden, Scorpions. That was all the stuff that I really started out on. As I evolved, I got into lighter, more melodic bands too, like Journey and Foreigner, and progressive bands like Yes and Rush had a big influence on me. Classic bands like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, of course Jimi Hendrix, and I also grew up in the guitar album era, so guys like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, Steve Morse, Yngwie Malmsteen, all those guys had a really big influence on me. From those bands, it just became about just being open-minded to learning, studying classical guitar, studying jazz, learning from whoever I played with as I go. Nowadays, my biggest influences are always the guys that I'm working with, because those are the guys that I tend to learn from. So anyway, there you go. That's how it all got started for me. Cheers.
When I first started Cry Havoc, I was like, whoa, fuck, like, this is fun. And how long is this going to last? Because it was just crazy. I was like 18, 19 years old. We were like doing the, rock star thing, going to shows, drinking, having loads of fun. And it was great. It was great fun, and I really got a taste for it. I mean, we were sort of like a thrash metal, crossover, like hair metal as well. So my favourite band at the time, like my biggest influence was Skid Row. And the guitar player was into like more like this like heavy stuff. He was a big Slayer fan, and then the bass player was into like more like proggy, like Porcupine Tree and stuff like that. So I was like, this is going to be such a weird mix. And then we went into the studio after that. Cry Havoc kind of like disbanded, and me and the guitar player stuck with each other and said, well, okay, let's try something a bit different. So musically, my music taste is very diverse. Like I said, I love punk rock, I love like old school 80s hair metal, anything classic, so it's very, very diverse. So we ended up starting Glass Tide. We were writing some tunes with a guy called Matt Bond, producer. He's a good friend of ours, and he was in a band called The Dirty Youth. And we wrote some great songs. It's a lot different than Glass Tide. It was challenging. It was more sort of like, it was more mainstream. It was more pop punk, and at first I was like, oh, I don't know about this, because I was so used to, you know, balls to the wall heavy metal for like a couple years, you know, so.
I wait outside your house again to check on you. Your explanation of events is just not true. And all my friends they bet you play away. I hope it was worth it, worth it, worth it. I hope it was worth it, worth it, worth it.
It was different, but it was challenging, and I like a challenge. So that was great fun, and we did some great shows. We did some really, really good shows, and got some good like magazine coverage and stuff like that, and did some like really, really fun music videos. Just all the ideas were like quite outside the box, so we had loads of fun with it, man. It was just, yeah, party central. It's great.
You beat me up, you make me feel like I'm not good enough. I know that you're not worth it.
I think the highlight was probably one of my first gigs with these guys, which was closing the Friday night after Iron Maiden at Grasspop Festival. So I got a phone call, I was at a gig in Bristol watching a band called Extreme, and I got a phone call saying, Gav, we need you to come out to Europe, and you've got to learn 16 ACDC songs, you got to get the costume. And I was like, yeah man, I was like, fuck, like I know how good these guys were, and like the caliber of the shows that they do. I was just like, fuck yeah, sure, when? 2 days time. 2 days time. I was depping a show in Germany, I think, or Holland, and after the show they said, you know, we're playing the same festival as Iron Maiden. So, oh, cool man, like that's cool. And it's a festival called Grasspop in Belgium. I was like, that's sweet, like have fun guys. And they're like, do you want to join the band? And I was like, nah. Obviously I'm lying, of course I said fucking yes. How could you say no? You know, how can you fucking say no? I was like, oh my god. Been to all these crazy countries, playing in front of thousands and thousands of people. And I was like, this is insane. This is fucking insane. I never thought I'd be in a tribute band and to ACDC. I love ACDC, I've always loved ACDC since I was a kid. And I just didn't think that I'd be doing this stuff. So yeah, I'm grateful, and the journey's still going, and it's great. And the musicians I've met along the way, they've been great guys, you know, met some cool people, been to some great places, and I would not trade it for the world, man. Yeah, I fucking love my job. We salute you!
started to learn to play the drums because I just thought it's, you know, the loudest instrument in the band, and you're actually physically smashing the crap out of something, you know, really get some frustration out of you. Yeah, I started learning in secondary school. I was into bands like Sum 41 and The Offspring, and then I got into proper old school metal and hard rock, so things like ACDC and the Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Queen, Motorhead, Iron Maiden, all these like classic bands, and just like there's nothing better than just putting on some of your favourite songs and smashing the drums out to it. And then as I got older and got better at the drums, joined a few bands and played and toured, you know, and playing live is just something that's in your blood then. It's nothing better than playing on stage in front of people.
We salute you! Come on!
Let's see, Korn was probably one of the biggest influences in my young adult life. As soon as I got a hold of the Life is Peachy album, that really turned me around, and Brian Welch's guitar playing really took me into where I just connected with it really well. His lead lines and just how creepy and eerie he was able to make it, like that really spoke volumes to me as a kid. You know, 2000s metal scene and all that kind of stuff, and then like gent started coming through, and I really enjoyed the aggression that gent music really brought forth. Some of my favorite albums are those albums that kind of grew up, very nostalgic for me. And I remember as soon as I got a hold of Gojira and Lamb of God, and then I heard word of those. I didn't come into the Lamb of God scene until just after Ashes of the Wake, when the Sacrament album dropped. And that's how like I got my first introduction to them. Gojira was From Mars to Cyrus, and that was probably one of my favorite albums growing up too. Yeah, so that's about it, man. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, I hope this video helps.
Another political band. Propaganda. How to Clean Everything. Brilliant album. Probably one of the most political bands, I suppose, but in a kind of, they were quite funny as well. Look at their little faces. But yeah, they were an angry band, so I'm going to play a song by them. Oh God, which one should we have? How about Stick the Fucking Flag Up Your Goddamn Arse, You Son of a Bitch, which I think is probably my favourite song in the album anyway. So there you go, Propaganda.
My father told me, son, it's futile to resist. You can topple ideology, but nothing on me stay and list. I question the intentions of the Boy Scouts chanting war. Well, that's the sound of freedom, son, he said, free to say no more. But wait a minute, Dad, did you actually say freedom? Well, if you're dumb enough to vote, you're fucking dumb enough to believe him. Cause if this country is so goddamn free, then I can burn your fucking flag whether I damn well please. And then I'm gonna stick it up your fucking ass! I carried their anthem, convinced it was mine.
Yeah, so they don't really like America very much, even though they are American, so you gotta love that, haven't you?